Hey Judy, how's the audio coming through tonight? We've got good volume and such. Might be a little bit loud. Let's turn that down just a little bit, about right there. I also turned down this soundtrack a little bit too, so it'll be more in the background. But can you hear me okay? I'll just wait to see how you're doing. Make sure that you can hear. Great audio, excellent. Let's just sit down and have a look around a little bit. Obviously, this is the moon. Right in the center of the screen is the Sea of Crisis, and then you've got the little bunny head there. We'll have a look around. Pretty bright tonight, both from the moon and from the dredge on the lake. It's basically pointing right at the observatory, so we're kind of limited in what we're going to be able to see tonight. But it's a nice night, and this weekend I'm going to change out the cameras. I'm going to put the monochrome camera back on the Rasa, take the color off. Kind of time to get the higher resolution for the asteroids and such. Get back to work. Looks like we've got really good connectivity here, so things should be moving nice and smooth. Going to bring this over a little bit. You see, we've got a little bit of a shadow here on the right side of the moon, and as a result, the craters are much more detailed over by that terminus line than they are, say, over here by Kepler, or even down there by Tycho. But this area of the moon over here on the right looks pretty good by the Sea of Crisis. You got a lot of surface detail, which is something I kind of like. Taking images of the full moon never really is very fruitful because it's just so, washed out and flat looking. There's no contrast. You want a little bit of oblique lighting to get nice detail on the surface of the moon. But I haven't streamed over here for a while. Yeah, the dredge is pretty close. It's between me and the island. Yeah, Splurge, 96%, that's right. But you can see a little bit on the edge there. You can see a little bit of oblique lighting there on the edge by the terminus line. But it's not really a nice night, to look at the moon and see interesting details, the X's and the V's and such. And the Pyrenees, the lunar Pyrenees. Got 100% on my test today, Judy. So I'm pretty proud of myself with that. But we'll have a look around a little bit. Tonight might be a nice night to try and see some satellites, or we might be able to get the Orion Nebula. I'm not real hopeful for really nice colors on it because of all the light that we have, but it's always best to have a nice dark night to get those nebula. But I can get the nebula with a color camera. I can't get them very well with a black and white camera, unfortunately, but I get much better detail. So the moon will be even sharper. But it's a nice little thing. Alrighty. We can sit down and play with this a little bit and see if we can see any detail here. So let's go ahead and increase the magnification up to about 150% and see what that looks like. So you see out here on the side of the moon, near the terminator line in the Sea of Crisis, you can see some small details. You see those little craters in the Sea of Crisis. See some of the central mountains in these large craters. That's just physics in action, That white spot right in the very center of the frame. Here, I'll put crosshair. So about right there, that little white dot, the Apollo 11 landing site is just at about 10 o'clock to that, and it's actually located about right here is where Apollo 11 landed. And then up here, let's see if I can see it. Not making it out really well. Apollo 17 was up in this general area right in here. Might be that little dark spot too, right there. But that was the first and the last lunar landings. Is the music too loud by chance? I like to keep a little bit back there just so that, you know, it's not quiet in the background. Make sure everything sounds good to everybody. Hopefully don't have much of an echo or anything. Math. Linear algebra today. Linear algebra. I did okay on the calculus test, and linear algebra I've got like a 96% average in. And calculus is the one that I struggle with a little bit. You know, I've got a solid B in calculus, but I'd really like to do a little bit better, even though I'm only auditing that one. The one that counts is next term. I'll be taking Calc 3, and that I'm taking for credit. And I'm also over at the university. I'll be taking differential equations as well, and that'll be for credit. And get that university physics out of the way, and then I start doing fun stuff. Modern physics is next fall with lab, so we should have some interesting labs. I did do a cool lab the other day in physics where we measured the acceleration of gravity. I think I may make a video out of that. And of course my study series of videos is going along gangbusters over on the STEM channel. Got 400 new subscribers over there in the last 2 weeks. Hard to believe it's already October 18th. It's getting kind of cold outside, so that doesn't surprise me too much. So, do we have any requests tonight? Oh, how'd that work out? That's weird. Wonder how I got a split screen there for a sec. Let's go ahead and put that back. Good thing I was wearing pants. I just did that on its own. That was weird. Okay, so do we have any requests tonight? No, we don't. We aren't going to do Foucault's because it's just the problem with Foucault's pendulum is you just need a big, long pendulum. 30, 40 feet is the longer the better. Foucault, I think, hung it under the Eiffel Tower or something like that when he first did it. M1? Let's go see if M1's around. Messier 1. Remember, I don't see anything to the west. So let's go see if we can find anything here. So we'll go on over here. It doesn't look like I can see that. Let me pull up the other one and see if I can figure out where it is. It's in Taurus. I don't even know if Taurus is up yet. Let's go have a look. Cavendish, maybe not. Oil drops, probably yes. Double slit, probably yes. You know, that'll be next fall, though. The stuff that I'm doing right now is pretty basic stuff, just acceleration and friction and inclines and projectiles and gravity and stuff like that. Yeah, just really basic stuff. All right, let's go see what we have over here. Just take me a second to get everything together here. M13, I know we got M13. I thought I saw that. Let's double check. I like M13, M15, M5 I think is the other one that's really nice. Well, the hub's not there. The hub's on the moon. So let's go recheck that. Sometimes these things just don't, you know, it doesn't connect at first. There we go. That looks a little better. Now I know that we're actually looking at the moon. So what I will do, let's see, Control Shift 1. Does that do that? That's doing weird things. There we go. That did it. So I just kind of locked it onto the moon here real quick. Well, looks like M1 is up. Where is it? Oh, not going to be able to see it. That's too low for me. Let's try M13. That is M13. Well, that doesn't look like it's a good target for me tonight, unfortunately. Let's go see if we can find something else here. Get back over to the chat. Hey, Real. Yeah, M13 is too low in the west for me to be able to see, unfortunately. But let's go see what else is up here. Andromeda's around. Let's go have a look at Andromeda. Let that thing maneuver for a minute. Yeah, that's one problem you have with a fixed observatory is, you know, you have trees, my house, you know, things like that kind of block parts of my sky. got a really nice view out to the east, down to 5 degrees above the horizon, but out to the west, I've got to be above about 35, 40 degrees for me to be able to see anything. Kind of a bummer, but you know, hey, it's just the way it is. Yeah, I won't be able to guide with this thing, but maybe we'll get a glimpse of it. Let's go ahead and have a quick look. So we'll make this full size. Let's go ahead and get about a 4-second exposure. Well, maybe let's go 8. Kind of make it a Manley exposure here. Then we'll shrink it. You know, we'll stretch it a little bit and see what we can get. Okay, here's the first image coming through. So we've got some data out here. Let's go ahead and stretch that image and see what we have. See if we can do a quick plate solve here and point the scope where it belongs. Looks like it did solve. It's generally about 1.3 degrees off, and it's 1.39 degrees off. So we'll go ahead and get this locked on to Andromeda. It's kind of hard to see things all the way up as high as that is. You know, it's like 55 degrees above the horizon. It's kind of tough to sneak out the aperture at that height because of the height of the pier. Okay, well, there's M31. So here is M31, the Andromeda Galaxy. Right there is M32, and right there is M110. So let's go see if we can get some images here. So what we'll do is let's go ahead and bump this up to about 30 seconds. I don't think that we're going to be able to see anything at all with the guide scope. It's blocked by the dome, so we're just going to go ahead and stop that. And we'll put M31 here, hit live stack, see what happens. Okay, we should be getting our first image here. Come on. There we go. So you see the light, you know, the color curves are way off, so we'll go ahead and white balance it. There, now that's a little bit more natural color. Now we'll go ahead and bring this in a little bit. And there we go. That doesn't look too bad, does it? Let's go ahead and make this a little smaller. Make that a little bit bigger. There's Andromeda, ladies and gents, our nearest galactic neighbors. So we'll let a couple of images cook through that, and then maybe we'll zoom in a little bit and see what we can see. Yeah, M33 is nearby. That's Triangularum. That is a very, very dim galaxy, and I don't have a lot of hope on a full, you know, a near full moon, and with, you know, these damn aircraft landing lights that these dredges have on them, shining right at the observatory. I'm not real hopeful that we're going to get nice images, but Maybe M101 is a nice spiral galaxy too. They had a supernova in that last year that I used to image a lot. Maybe go have a quick look at that and see what we can see. Well, let's see how this image is turning out. I'm not guiding, so I'm only going to limit myself to about 30-second exposures. Let's bring this up to 50%. So as you can see, we're really holding pretty well on our tracking. There is M110. That's M31, and right down there, that big fuzzy dot, that's M32, another galaxy. But you see these beautiful dust lanes, these brownish dust lanes that they have with a golden background? The galactic core is blown out a little bit, but not too bad. These, these lanes that you see here. So you see there's a dust lane that goes from here to about right down here. Then there's a second one above it. Goes from about there to there. Those aren't artifacts. Those are actually dust, interstellar dust in the intragalactic dust lanes is what they are. Probably remnants of the arms of the Andromeda galaxy. This thing does a nice job. Hey Dave, how are you tonight? Everybody doing well out there? We're getting a few people, and we got like 20 people here tonight. And of course, I am taking requests tonight. This is the Andromeda galaxy, our galactic neighbor. That's about 50% magnification on the telescope. Tonight we are using the Rasa 11 telescope. And the camera is a ZWO 6200 one-shot color camera, top of the line astro camera. Thank you sponsors and benefactors and Patreons. As a result of their efforts, we're able to get some really nice gear. That's pretty nice, huh? Let's go see what else we have tonight. Bubble Nebula is up, but man, it's way high. Cat's Eye Nebula, we might be able to see that one. Let's go ahead and have a look. So what the telescope is doing right now is slewing over to the Cat's Eye Nebula. As you can see the telescope moving here. The dome will also rotate to put that opening in front of the telescope. Sometimes I have to make some minor adjustments to it. You know, the synchronization is not perfect, but it's close. There, that looks good. See, so we kind of overshot it a little bit. So let's go ahead and see whether or not maybe we can fix that. Okay. So let's go see what we can do here. Let's move this into an area that I can see things with. Okay. So let's go see what we can get here. All right, now that I'm in the general area, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and plate solve this. There, we got it. We're probably about, 1.4 degrees off. That's pretty typical. When you do a big slew, it comes close to the area, but it doesn't hit the area you're looking for exactly. Generally takes a moment to do that. What you do is once you get over to, the neighborhood and everything settles down, you go ahead and take an image and then you plate solve that to the star chart and find out what the telescope is really pointing at versus what you told it to point at. And generally they're off a little bit, in this case 1.4 degrees. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and see whether or not we can get an image of this. So we'll go ahead and go up here to cat's eye. Now, this one I think we're going to guide on. So we should have a star. Okay, we do. Get a couple of stars in here. We'll lock onto that star right there. Then we'll come back over here and we'll start taking some longer images. Let's go with about 90 seconds. Let's stack some images. Just making a few adjustments here so that we can see what we're trying to look for here. Now we'll just let this image cook and see what happens. Meanwhile, let's go back over to the chat for a moment. Hey Steve, how are you? Still nice up there? I love the UP of Michigan. Absolutely love it. Yes, our galaxy does have dust lanes, Judy. You can see the intergalactic dust in places like the Pleiades, that blue halo that's around the Pleiades. We'll see if we can get a shot of that tonight. That's actually dust between us and those stars. That's not dust near the star. Yeah, we've got a lot of planets up. Yeah, I've never had much luck with the star finders. I find that they're probably 30 to 45 degrees off. Maybe I'm just not using them right. I just haven't been real impressed with them. It's nice because it's got a star chart on it, and if you know the stars, you can kind of get an idea of where you're looking, and then you start looking for constellations. It tells you in what constellation your object is located, and you can generally recognize the constellations visually if you take the time to learn them. So let's go see what we have cooking here. That first image ought to be done. Let's go see what it looks like. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to white balance it, get those color curves all nicely lined up. Then we'll get on out here. Now, do we have anything? Let's go up 66%. Hail Sagan. Yeah, I don't really see too much here. Yeah, probably not a good night for nebula, simply because the moon is so bright and we have that light pollution from the dredges. Let's go see if we can find something a little more interesting. Wonder if M45's around. Yeah, we might be able to hit the Pleiades. They're kind of low on the horizon. We're looking right past that dredge and pretty much under the moon, so I don't know. We'll give it a try. Let's go see what it looks like. I'm thinking this doesn't look too bad. That's getting all excited. That's the Pleiades right there, up in the upper right corner. But let's go see what the main image looks like. Right corner. But let's go see what the main image looks like. There's a satellite running right through. See, we're seeing the Pleiades a little bit in the finder scope, so we're close. It's just not in the main scope right now. Just doing a plate solve here to kind of get oriented. It looks like we're pretty much on the Pleiades there. Those are the seven sisters of Subaru. Alrighty. I'm just setting things up to start taking some images. Okay, so that first image is starting to cook. Let's go back over here to the chat and see what's going on. Which one are you using, Dave? We got 30 people out there tonight. That's pretty good. You guys make sure that if you haven't subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do it real quick. I do star parties just about every night that the sky's clear. Hang on, let me adjust this image here a little bit. We're going to see what we can find, okay? So, let's see what we got here. Good. Actually, I don't think that's an image. I think that's left over from the last one. Give it a second. There we go. Hang on. It's actually a little too much exposure, I think. I'm going to drop this down probably to 30 seconds. I think we're going to do a little better with that. Man, look at all that light pollution. Yeah, 30 seconds is going to be a lot better, I think. That's the dredge. See, all this stuff down here on the side is the dredge. Okay, that first image should be coming up any second now. It's kind of challenging to get nice images in this area because it's pretty low on the horizon. I'm looking right past a brightly lit dredge. But we'll see if we can tease something out. That looks a little better. See all that stuff down in the lower right corner? That's all light pollution, really bad stuff. Yeah, we're not going to get really nice images tonight because of all of this. At least not that low in the sky. We'll find a different one tonight. What if the pinwheel galaxy's up? Way too low. There's a little spiral galaxy. I don't know, maybe let's look at some satellites. How's that sound? My favorite little group of satellites here. I've got to point the telescope away from the dredge and the moon in order to see anything, so I'm gonna take it down here more towards the south and see if we can get some nice images. Hey Judy, thank you very much. Yeah, we're gonna look at the whirlpool. Let me go see where that is. Use sky map. Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's go see what this looks like. Turn off. You see, those are the Pleiades. You can see a little bit of the blue around it, but there's just so much light down there, it's just ruining the image. I just need to make a couple of quick adjustments here. We're getting ready to look at some satellites in orbit. We've got a lot of light tonight and almost a full moon. So looking at nebula just isn't going to work tonight, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that, but you know, that's astronomy. This is why you always shade your outside lights. Maybe put some red lights on instead of those bright white lights pointing straight up at the sky. .34 degrees off. There's a satellite. No, those are stars. Sorry about that. I'm going to go get the plug for this. There are the satellites right there in the center. You see the streaks? There's 3 of them, and then there's 3 to the right of it. I'll go ahead and here's the main group right here. So that's the main group, and then there's more over here. You can actually see them going by, you know, moving from frame to frame. And we'll go ahead and get a little closer so you can see them. Yeah, 50% ought to be enough. So there's the group of 3, and then it has the 3 trailers. There's actually 4 satellites in that main group. I think there was one down a little lower. Yeah, there it is, down there at the very bottom. But those are satellites going by. Those are geostationary satellites. And you'll see that when I turn on satellite tracking, what'll happen is those satellites will become little dots of light, and the stars will streak. See, look how pinpoint those satellites are now. So you see there's the 4, 1 down at the bottom, and then 3 up top. Then there are 3 in trail right here. So we've got 7 satellites in this one frame. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Those are live satellites. Hey Nathan, how are you? I've got to go grab the power supply for the computer. I will be right back. Enjoy the music. Watch the satellites go by. No, it's not the ISS. These are geostationary satellites. There are 3 basic types of satellites. Oh yeah, I know exactly what satellites they are. Here. So if we go over here, where'd it go? Is that it? No. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So the main satellite there is this one, which is Amazonas 5. And as you can see, it's located right over Brazil. That's where the black dot is. And my observatory is up here in Michigan. Here's all the stats on the satellite in green. So you see it's at an altitude of 35,795 kilometers, and it's 38,251 kilometers from me. This thing's about the size of an SUV, maybe a little smaller. And as you can tell, we can see it and its friends. You know, there's 7 satellites in that one little group. Amazonas 5 is probably one of these 3 that are close together up here. But it's interesting. We can identify these satellites. We know who commissioned them, who built them, who launched them. We know what orbit they are. And simply by putting the orbital elements into my telescope, I was able to generate ephemeris and point the telescope directly at them. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, there's no question that these are in orbit right now. The ISS is in low Earth orbit, and it would move very fast across the screen. It's very difficult to track something moving that fast. Plus, it gets eclipsed by the shadow of the Earth, so you only get to see it a little before dawn or a little after dusk. Now, the GPS satellites are located between the geostationary satellites and the low Earth orbit satellites. Low Earth orbit's around 400 kilometers, maybe a little more. GPS satellites are around 12,000 kilometers, or about 20,000 kilometers, and the geostationary satellites are around 35,000 kilometers. Yeah, the ISS would be ripping. I can't track the ISS with the observatory. I can't turn the dome fast enough. The telescope will track, but the dome won't. So I am going to be working on using the portable mount to track low Earth orbit satellites. So it's kind of a neat thing. Let me see if I can make this a little prettier here. Let's go ahead and bring this down just a little bit. There, that's a little more natural. Now, if you slow the exposure down, right now I'm at 4 seconds. If we get it down to about half a second, you can actually see the stars moving and the satellites are sitting still. I think 1 second would probably be a little better. Here, try a little trick here. There we go. This should look a lot better. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So here's the group of 3 satellites right here. That's probably Amazonas 5 there. There's another satellite right down there. And then there's 1, 2, 3 satellites here. But yes, you can see satellites in space. Actually, too far north to see the ISS. Goes up to 56, so you're 300 miles north of that, as I recall. You should be able to see the ISS. Planets in this scope are no good. This is a wide field telescope. The field is 2 by 3 degrees, and it's a 620 millimeter focal length telescope. So this is not designed to look at planets. This telescope was purposely chosen to be a wide field telescope for my work with comets and asteroids. I do take pictures on it once in a while, simply because it's always cool to take pretty pictures. But the actual serious work of this telescope is to monitor the orbits of asteroids and comets. and that's what I do, you know, several hours every clear night. I generally image between about 10 o'clock and about 3 o'clock, and I'll run 3 and sometimes even 4 sets of data acquisition looking for asteroids and comets. Typically what I'll do is I'll aim at a comet to get current orbital data on it, and I'll just make note of any asteroids I happen to see at the same time. Let's drop this down just a little bit. I think we can probably just get a little bit more exposure with this. Give it a second. There you go. So you can very clearly see 6, 7 satellites in this one view alone. Oh, the inside of the observatory looks like the ISS? Yeah. Yep, well, it's a 2.2 meter dome. It's made by a company in Canada out in Vancouver called NextDome. Very nice. Kind of a pain in the ass to set up. It took my son and I 2 days to build it. And it also took us, you know, that was one weekend, the weekend before we built and stained the deck. You know, getting the observatory set up correctly is kind of difficult. It's takes a lot of tweaking. The rotation of the dome is still not perfect, but it's pretty good. One thing that I did do is realize the limits of my ability in getting the dome tweaked, and I actually put a camera out there so that instead of having to run out every time I slewed this telescope to make sure it was pointing in the right direction, now I just look at the camera. So what else would you guys like to see? We may have some planets tonight. I can show you some planets. But like I said, this isn't an ideal telescope to look at planets with. Let's go see what we have. Well, Uranus and Neptune are out in the east, but then again, so is the moon. We're not going to see them. Saturn's over in the south at a reasonable altitude. Let's go ahead and have a look at Saturn. Go over here and make sure the telescope's moving correctly. So both the telescope and the dome, of course, are moving right now. Got a feeling the telescope may have to move all the way around. Hang on just a second, guys. Wife's going to bed. All right, let's go see if we can clean this up a little bit. That's not the way we want it. Let me get this down here so I can get to it. There we go. All right, so what we'll do here, we're going to go ahead and turn that off for a second. And we're going to change this to 10 degrees, and we're going to go over that way for a minute. And that, of course, was the wrong way. So we'll come back the other way. Did I just do that again? I sure did. Alright, let's go see what this looks like. Yeah, it's pretty good there. Alright, so let's go back over here. We'll go ahead and plate solve again, just to kind of see where we are. Nice 4-second exposure. Good Lord, that's all screwed up. Let's go see if we can fix that. I think the sky is supposed to be black at night, not red. Unless we suddenly went on to Mars. Alright, let's go ahead and see if we can figure out where we are here. .61 degrees off. That big streak there, that's going to be Saturn. It'll be right in the center. All right. So let's see how close the plate solving is. That's not too bad, is it? That might be a little satellite right there. You see it? On the right side. Now, here's the deal with planets. They are very, very tiny. This is 100% magnification. So you see Saturn here, and right next to it is its moon Titan. But what we're going to do is we're going to drop this down a little bit, the exposure. See if we can see some detail here. Okay, no good. A little more, drop it down to a 1-second exposure. Let's drop it down to a 1/4 second. And there is Saturn at 300% magnification. Can't really go further than that, you know. Come up here to 6, you start getting a lot of pixels, but you can definitely see the rings. But the magnification on this scope is simply not large enough to be able to take nice images of the planets. That's why I said it's, you know, I don't use this telescope for planets. M13, I think, is setting right now. Yeah, Sataloons. Those are fancy puffy pants that were popular in the 80s in Spain. Yeah, they're almost edgewise now, as you can tell. I mean, even in the time that I've been looking at Saturn in the last few years, you can definitely tell that the rings are shifting. Now Jupiter is about half the distance, but I don't think it's available right now. We'll have a quick look. It is, but it's very, very low on the horizon, you know, on the order of 12 degrees. Let's let that rise up a little bit. Yeah, it is pretty cool, isn't it? The stuff that you can see from your own backyard. Let's go ahead and refresh this list. Yeah, we're not going to see any of these fine nebula. It's just way too bright out. Let's go see if what was that one there? M51, the Whirlpool Galaxy. Oh, it doesn't look like it's available. Let me just look here and see what we have. Yeah, let's go see where. I want to go ahead and see where. Let's see if Orion's up yet. What is that? M42, isn't it? Yeah, M42 is not up yet. This will be a little higher, but it's not high enough to be seen yet either. Where is that? Ah, that's really, really low in the sky. I don't think we're going to see that one either. The Pleiades are just in a really bad position because of where the dredge and the moon is. Oh, what the hell? Let's go back to the moon for a minute. That's only 17 degrees above the horizon, and it's at an azimuth of 306 degrees. That's going to be right into my house. I'll be able to wave at you if I try and point to that one. That's M13. Oh, this is a possibility. What do we got here? That's doable. This is the Pegasus cluster that I'm going to go to now. What did I do? Did I screw that thing up? This is kind of pointing away from the lights, so this may actually be a good target for us. See, you can see the trees right here on the left. Let's see if we can help this out a little bit. All right, that looks like it might have some possibility. Okay, we're going to get our bearings real quick, and then hopefully the Pegasus cluster will be right in the center of the screen. Yeah, we're 1.57 degrees off, so it's off a little bit. It's probably just off the image. There we go. There's the Pegasus cluster right in the center of the screen. Go ahead and start tracking that. Guiding tonight is sub-arc second, so we're in real good shape with that. Okay. Now, what we're going to do here, what did I say that was, M13? Let's go ahead and take some 60-second images and live stack these bad boys. Head back over here to the chat for a second while that's cooking. Yeah, the moon is kind of ruining things tonight, but you know, good dad and son bonding. Well, unfortunately, the only person I'm bonding with tonight is Otis the cat. Hey, Bjord. Well, Bjork, you're very welcome. I do enjoy doing this pretty much every clear night in Michigan. I'm in central Michigan, so if you see that the skies are going to be clear out there, generally I'll start streaming around 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening. Just go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Unfortunately, unless you hit notifications, you're not going to see anything. You know, you're not going to get the notifications. But we'll see what we can do. Okay, so let's clean this up a little bit. We'll white balance it. Then we'll go ahead and stretch the image properly. Come on. White balance there, kid. There we go. And there is a star cluster. Looks like we could probably use a little focus. Let's go ahead and stop this for right now. Turn this camera off. Let's go back over here to the main camera. Turn that one on. Come on over here and do an autofocus run. Let's make this kind of big. So over here on the right, you'll see the focus curve. And in the center, you'll see the current images as it focuses. So let's turn this crosshairs off and let you enjoy this thing. I shall be right back. I'm going to go ahead and let this image kind of cook through a little bit. The observatory is located in Michigan in the United States. The telescope is an 11-inch Rasa by Celestron on a Celestron CGX-L mount in a 2.2 meter dome, and the camera is a ZWO 6200 color camera. Hey Cheryl, to be honest with you, I'm not getting really good images of nebula and such tonight and faint objects. The Owl Nebula is probably not going to be a very good one tonight. That's because it's pretty much a full moon, and I also have dredges on the lake behind the observatory that are shining aircraft quality lights into the observatory and the telescope. So it's really, I'm not seeing anything as far as nebula tonight. That's why that's kind of why I hit this star cluster. You know, at least we can see it. Okay, so there's our first image. Let's go ahead and clean that up. Make sure we got everything right here. Okay, white balance it and bring it in focus. And let's bring this down to 66% Hail Sagan. And that is the M13 star cluster. Talking about the dragon. Okay, let's go see what we can find out. We'll look at this one here for a minute, and then I'll switch over to NGC 457. Let's see if we can, first of all, let's see whether or not that's reachable for me. It should be. It's in Cassiopeia, it should be. What was it? Yeah, we should be able to reach that. We'll look at that one next. How's that sound? Now, to give you an idea of how big this camera is, that's what the full camera looks like. But you see you're getting a lot of this. There's a little bit of light pollution there. There we go. That's a nice looking star cluster. You guys make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We have a Patreon and other things too in case you're interested. Anything that you donate gets put right into equipment for the observatory. Yeah, I'm in Bortle 3 to 4 skies here. Could be better, could be a lot worse. But I'm in a small town in Michigan, so we do have some light pollution. The biggest problem we're having tonight, though, is the moon and the fact they're dredging the lake. You know, they want to get this done by the end of the month, so they're kind of working 24 hours a day. And, you know, there's just no release from the lights on the dredges, unfortunately. You know, sometimes they turn them off during the weekend, but generally not. Okay, so we had a couple shots here in case you guys want to grab a screenshot. I'm going to head on over to NGC 457 at the request of Cheryl, and we'll see what we have. Tracking is beautiful tonight. It's sub-arc second, about 0.67 arc seconds. Okay, so we've got tracking turned off. Let's see if this, yep, okay, so she's slewing over now. Head on over to Cassiopeia and see what we have. This is the Dragonfly cluster. Owl ET. Alright, that's no bueno. Let's go see what we have here. See if we can fix this up a little bit. Uh-oh. That's not good. Yeah, you broke it. Let me go out and have a quick look at it and see what's going on. Oh, dear. Yeah, obviously something's going on with the dome, so we'll go see what that is. Well, all I can say is this better be worth it, Cheryl. Let's go see what this image looks like. Yeah, this is what's called electronic assisted astronomy. All right, well, there it is. There's your star cluster. But there's your owl cluster right there, Cheryl. I'm not sure we're not gonna be able to guide. That's a pity. All right, Cheryl, there's your cluster. Let's go see if we can make it pretty. It's looking a little better. Let's go see. There we go. It's got some color in it, doesn't it? But that is Cheryl's cluster, the owl cluster. Oh, it's upside down, is it? No, we won't flip it. That'll screw everything up. Let's stack a few images on that and see how it looks. See if we can clear it up a little bit, get rid of some of this graininess. That thing's looking pretty sweet, isn't it? Okay, we'll head down there. Yeah, the double cluster. That's near the Heart and Soul Nebula too, isn't it? Yeah, we're not going to see those tonight. Cheryl, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Like I said, any donations to the channel go right to equipment. I don't take any income from the channel. I'm in Central Michigan. I'm near Central Michigan University in Mount Pleasant. NGC 884. We'll give that one a try. So let's go ahead and do the magic here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and stop the live stacking. And we're going to stop. Okay, that's, yeah, that we weren't doing that to begin with. Let's go see if we can go to that one. That shouldn't be any problem at all. There's the great double cluster right there. We are just off a little bit. Let's just go ahead and clean that up just a little, and then we'll zoom in and do a little live stacking. Focus is looking really good tonight. Okay, it looks good. Wonder if we can see anything with this. No. Yeah, I mean, you see how tight that is up there? I'm right at the zenith. There's no way I can use the guide scope, which is a little bit, it's above the telescope and off to the left. So you see I'm hitting the side of the dome here. So I can't guide. But it's holding 60-second exposures tonight, so we'll go ahead and go with that. Now, if you look down in the lower right corner, you'll see a little orange bar that's getting longer from left to right. That is the exposure timer. And when that bar is fully extended to the right, that means the exposure's over. So we're a little bit over halfway through the exposure right now. Got about 19 seconds to go. So this is the double cluster. This is one of the first ones that I saw. Yep, I have 4 cameras, well 5 actually. I have twin 6200s, one in mono and one in color. I've got twin 533s, one in mono and one in color. And I have a QHY 174, which is a 170 frame per second monster that I use. It's a color camera, and I use it for solar. And we will be doing some solar this weekend. Okay, so it looks like we've got our first image out. Let's go ahead and have some fun with that, see what we can do. White balance. And stretch properly. And there is the double cluster. I think we can go a little bit higher on that. Let's go up to 33% now. Too much. 20. That looks pretty good. Well, let's let that cook around for a bit. Thank you, Norm. Focus on this is around 2 half-flux radius. So we're looking at, we're looking at probably 2 or 3 arc seconds of focus. Oh, it's absolutely dialed in. It's within, it's within an arc minute or so. Yeah, 60 seconds is about the limit of what I can do with this as far as long exposures go without guiding. But with guiding, I can do 10 minutes if I need to. I can't think of a reason that I would ever want to do 10 minutes. I think the longest I ever did on a test, for an actual series, a tasking, I think I did some 5-minute exposures when I was looking at, what was it? Dragon Nebula, was it? Oh, the Bat Nebula, excuse me. That's just a really dim object, and I got a nice image of the Bat Nebula with that. We got a good number of people out here. 33 going right now. I hope you all are subscribing to the channel. Make sure you hit those notifications too so you know when I'm actually streaming. And like I said, if you happen to check the weather in Michigan, Judy knows the weather here better than I do. If it's a clear night, chances are I'm going to be streaming. I've streamed for probably, 2 hours now? Almost 2 hours. Yeah, isn't it nice? I mean, the ZWO 6200 is kind of red heavy, I think. But, that's a combination of the camera and it's a combination of some light pollution. And, it's a combination of skill. I'm not an astrophotographer. I don't even shoot darks and flats, which, is just basically laziness on my part. I was talking to somebody the other day and I said, he asked me why I didn't do it. And I said, well, I'm just mostly looking for little white dots. That, there's either a dot there or there's a knot. I look for asteroids mostly and some comets. And then, I analyze them with computer and report my findings to the Minor Planet Center. I'm an official observatory of the Minor Planet Center for tracking asteroids. Yeah, the flats and the darks are more for the astrophotography, looking for those beautiful colors in the nebula and such. Yeah, the Bat Nebula is a beautiful nebula. I was able to get some shots of it. I think if you look in the community section of this channel, you'll actually see my my Bat Nebula image. I think I posted that. Yeah, the double cluster is coming out very nicely. Let's zoom out a little bit and just kind of get it in context. Now, this image that you're looking at is 2 degrees by 3 degrees. So it's a really wide field image because, like I said, mostly what I do is asteroid work. And for that, you take a shot of the sky like this, and you take 40 2-minute images, and then you run it all through the computer, and it looks for anything moving. And then if it finds something that's moving, it'll compute its orbit and compare it against the database to see whether or not it's a known asteroid. I haven't discovered any new ones. They're out there, and I'm thinking about, my strategy right now is that I generally look for a comet because I like to update the orbits of comets, and then I hit any asteroids that just happen to be in the field. To look for unknown asteroids, one of the places that you want to look actually is the Milky Way, because the big sky survey telescopes have trouble when they're looking at the Milky Way. There's just too much data there. This is a Rasa 11. The sky surveys use quad 11s, so they're like mounted on an anti-aircraft mount, and there's 4 of them, and that gives you the equivalent of a 22-inch Rasa. And it's just an enormous field, and their cameras are I've got a top of the line amateur camera. Those things there are actually scientific cameras, and they're just big sensors, and sensors the size of a baseball card, and not the new ones, the old ones, the big ones. Yeah, I've got some good comet pics, but unfortunately I've not been able to find the big one. It's out in the west right now, which is an area that I can't see with this telescope. I'm thinking tomorrow I may go on a road trip with the portable mount, which is why I have the portable mount, and I'm going to have a look. But the problem is even if I can get a good shot of the western sky, I still have this damn moon to contend with. I've got to wait a few days for it to start rising later. Every day it rises 50 minutes later than it did the night before. So I'm going to wait a few days until and try and get a window of opportunity where I have no moon, and maybe I can get the asteroid. Oh, the Cookie Monster Nebula. Well, Cheryl, do you have any other requests for targets tonight? We have a little time. I'll probably stream for another 15 minutes or so we've got time for another target. I wonder if the Cookie Monster is available. Let's go have a look. I know what you're talking about, but it doesn't. Let's see. I see 1284. Let's go see if we can find it. That's not looking good. No, I don't think we're going to find that one tonight, Cheryl, unless I can see through the Earth. I know you can see stars through the moon, but I can't see the Cookie Monster through the Earth. Well, get your images there, because we're going to go on over to Bode's. I got an image of the double cluster here, so I don't think we're guiding. That's looking good right there. There's the Cigar Nebula down at the bottom. Well, there's Bode's Nebula right in the center, and the Cigar Nebula is just above it. Or the nebula, geez. Bode's Galaxy and the Cigar Galaxy. So let's go ahead and see what we can do to maybe zero in on them a little bit. So you see there's Bode's right down there. So we'll lock in on that star right there. And we're going to go... Let's do a little longer image. Let's do 2 minutes. So we'll give this a second. Show you guys a couple galaxies. No, this is a live view. Keyman, this is a live view with a telescope. Yeah, we did M13. NGC 4966. We'll have a look at that next. Yes, I will be taking solar images for the final experiment to compare sunspots with the guys down in Antarctica. I can't go, so I wanted to at least contribute in some way. So I designed a couple of experiments for them, and I will be doing solar imaging while they're down there so we can verify the sunspot locations and such. Okay, so that first image should be cooking now. Come on. There we go. You could do it. I knew you could. So you see how it's got like kind of a reddish tinge to it? Yeah, we did Andromeda. That was a while ago. Now you see these stars are kind of oval, which means that it wasn't quite ready to go, I don't think. Hey, Joe. Yeah, 81, 82. Now, where's your observatory, Cheryl? Say you do outreach and such. What part of the country are you in? Okay, we should be getting that first image out now. That looks a little better. Very, very grainy. Make sure that cooler's on. Yeah, the cooler's on. And it's set for... It's on -10 now. Let's bring it down to -20. It's cool out tonight. We should be able to hit 20. Ooh, I think we've got some of the red. Hang on. You're starting to see a little bit of the flares that go up and down like this, the red flares that go up. Still pretty grainy right now. You can definitely see the double bar spirals there. Bode's galaxy is what's called a barred galaxy. If I recall just off the top of my head, I think these are on the order of 25 billion light years away. Or 25 million light years away, excuse me. They're about 10 times the distance of the Andromeda galaxy. Okay, so you're on the other side of the country. Now, are you associated with the university, or you just in a club, or you just an enthusiastic amateur like me? Ah, there you go. Yeah. I'm with the astronomy club at in Bay City, Michigan, and I'm also with the astronomy club at Central Michigan University. I'm currently going to school there, getting an astrophysics degree. And observational astronomy is one of the courses I'll be taking. So I'll be using Brooks Observatory quite a bit. That's a 16-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain there. "38 viewers. You guys make sure that you go ahead and drop me a subscription. We're going to probably shut this down pretty soon. We've been streaming for well over 2 hours, and I still have some reading to do tonight. But it has been a lot of fun. I will be doing a couple more of these this weekend. You know, both during the day with solar and at night, looking at other, looking at galaxies. We'll try and find the comet if we can. And when the moon comes up, it'll be a little less than 96%. So we may see some more interesting features on the moon. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate your support of the channel. But the interesting thing about this, if you look at these two galaxies, there's probably 30 or 4 sentient civilizations looking back at us. I'm sure there's even more life than that. I'm just counting the ones that can build telescopes. Well, I think that's probably about it for tonight. It's starting to get late, and we've been doing this for quite a while, so I think I'm going to go ahead and let her head on down.